Ladies and gentlemen, Paul Leslie presents. And now your host, Paul Leslie.
Today's special guest is the incomparable Matt Hall. Matt, thanks for coming on the show.
Hey, thank you. My pleasure.
I understand you just got back from Jamaica. Tell us about that.
Went down to Ocho Rios, Jamaica with Sonny Jim, James White, and we put together a little... Actually, he put it together. Actually, his wife, Adela, put it together. But put together a little tour down there. We took about 40 fans and friends, went down and spent about 4 days, spent a long weekend in Ocho Rios. And one of the nights, actually, he and I played a show at the Margaritaville Cafe there in Ocho Rios. And it was a really cool trip. I highly recommend anybody that hasn't been to Jamaica that you should go as soon as possible. It's the people are really friendly. We did a lot of touring and stuff. We climbed the Duns River waterfalls and did some river tubing. We even went to Bob Marley's birthplace and mausoleum. That was really cool to see that. It was very moving. We got to actually see the single bed he sings about in one of the songs. So it was very cool. It was a great trip. And we're going to do it again next summer, actually.
Hopefully I'll be there next time.
Yeah.
How did you start with music, Matt?
Well, it's always been in my life. When I was a little kid growing up, I was singing along the radio and running around and stuff. And I know when I was 5 years old, I got a record player for Christmas, and just played it all the time. Played all the crazy Pinocchio records and Romper Room and stuff that little kids listen to, and the Christmas with the Chipmunks Volume 2 album that I played year round and drove my parents crazy. And then when I was about 8 years old, we went down to take piano lessons at a music store. And we walked in, and I was looking at the guitars and pointing at them and stuff. And my mom realized that a guitar was a lot cheaper than a piano. So we brought a guitar home and started taking lessons and took off from there. Played in the band in high school and all the musicals, and started playing professionally when I was about 20 years old and never looked back.
And you started in the professional genre with what we would call Caribbean Americana. The band Saint Somewhere, which you founded with Quincy Yates. Mm-hmm. For the listeners at home, tell us a little bit about Saint Somewhere then and Saint Somewhere now.
Saint Somewhere then, this would have been about 1997 or 98, and Quincy and I met up. He played steel drums, and I played guitar and sang. And we actually had a third guy named Todd Sheely who played congas and percussion. And that was the first incarnation of Saint Somewhere. And we really played a lot of it was very much Jimmy Buffett oriented, very party fun oriented kind of thing. And did really well, played for a lot of Parrot clubs. And then as we grew, we added a drummer and a bass player and changed some personnel here and there and started recording CDs and writing our own music and stuff like that. And the music started to grow and change, and our influences changed a little bit. And we started doing a little more long experimental kind of things on stage and stuff like that. And then about last New Year's Eve, I finally quit the band because I got tired of traveling. I was on the road basically for 5 years straight, and it just wore me out eventually. So I quit and to play my own solo kind of thing and stay home a lot more, and that's what I'm doing now. But St. Somewhere's continuing on. They've got the new front man, this guy named Trey, who was in a band that played a lot of Allman Brothers influence kind of stuff. So that influence is in there now, and then they got Quincy's influence with all the reggae and island kind of stuff. So it's a neat combination. But the thing is that I want everybody should know, especially the old Saint Somewhere fans, that it's completely different now. And if anybody goes in expecting it to be like it was when I was in the band, well, obviously I'm not in the band anymore, so it's completely different. But if you go in with an open mind, you're really going to enjoy it. They really are a good band.
I notice in your own performances, you seem to have a bit of the tropical island touch in your flavor. Mm-hmm. How did that become a part of you? Well,
like I always say, parrot heads are born, not made, really. It's just at some point in your life you realize that it's in you. I listened to country music mostly growing up with my parents when they had control of the radio, and then a lot of pop and rock, of course, in high school and everything. And but even reggae, even back then, before I knew what it was called, I enjoyed listening to the Police and Bob Marley. And then I remember really finding Jimmy Buffett right around when I was in college at Miami University in Ohio, and that really hooked me. That's when I knew that's what I was looking for. That was, it's well-written songs, it's lyrical based, it's story-driven, but it still has a good island kind of beat and flavor to it. And it's real beachy and relaxed, and that just fit with me. That's just how it is. It's just how I am.
Halloween night 2002. You're playing at the Margaritaville Cafe with Saint Somewhere. What happened?
Right. Well, that was the legendary night that Jimmy showed up and sat in. We were playing. It was Halloween night, so we were all in. The whole band was in costume, and most of the audience was too. And we were just playing our regular set, and we had no idea anything spectacular was going to happen. We hadn't been warned in advance or anything. And I remember we were getting towards the end of the first set, and we were playing Southern Cross, and there started to be something was going on. The audience, they were poking each other and looking around and whispering and pointing up at the balcony, and something was happening. We didn't know what it was. And finally somebody came over and whispered, and they told us that Jimmy was in the building. Jimmy's here. Jimmy's in the building. He's up on the balcony signing autographs. I'm like, oh my God, is he going to sit in with us? Am I going to get to meet him finally? But actually it got even better than that, because there were some people in the audience, they were in costume as Jimmy Buffett. They had Jimmy Buffett masks they'd made. And towards the end of the set, we were playing Southern Cross, and this guy starts coming down the stairs from the balcony wearing a Jimmy Buffett mask, and starts heading to the stage, climbs on stage, and takes off his mask, and of course it's Jimmy Buffett himself. So, holy crap. I freaked out a little bit, and stepped out of the way and gave him the microphone immediately. And of course, he picked up my guitar and started playing. He played with us for about 45 minutes there, and then we took a little break, and all talked about how great that was, and it'll never happen again. And we came back from the break, and he was still there and sat in for the whole second set. So he played another hour. I think, as far as I know, he's never sat in with a band and played as much as he did with us that night. So I guess he had a good time. We played we played No Woman No Cry. We played You Can't Always Get What You Want. We played Bob Dylan's Like a Rolling Stone. We played a lot of songs that we'd never played before, and I think Quincy had never even heard. But we just sort of followed Jimmy and sat in with him, basically. So it was very cool. It was a dream come true, and I've got pictures of it all over my house.
So people that come see Matt Hall as a solo act now, what can they expect?
I think they can expect to have a good time, mostly. That's my primary thing. I always say that, we're all here for the same reason, me and the audience members. It's just that I have a guitar and a microphone. We're all here to have fun, so let's do that. It's very, I try to make it really interactive and personable, and all the songs are pretty familiar. Usually, people ask me, what kind of music do you play? I always say, Jimmy Buffett and James Taylor and the Eagles and stuff like that. But basically, it's the songs that when you and your friends get together and you have a few drinks and you start putting your arms around each other and singing along, that's the songs I play.
So is there anything you'd like to say to all those Matt Hall fans out there?
Yes, my phone number is area code, no. I seriously would like to say to the fans, as always, thank you, because without people coming out to listen to us play music, any musician come out and play music, we'd just be sitting around in our basements still. So thank you for letting me do this for a living. Thank you for letting me go to Jamaica and play with Jimmy Buffett and all that good stuff. Thank you.
Thanks for coming on the show, Matt.
Thank you, Paul.
There he is, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Banana Hammock himself.